Shalom royalty, it's Ellie here. And so, title of the video is Power Outage in Tennessee. So I'm located in Tennessee and they just did a random power outage thing, and they're saying it's due to the heat. Don't mind my face. I just got up from a nap. I'm really not that hot. It was so hot the other day. I couldn't even believe what was going on. I couldn't spend time outside or anything. It was just weird. And so I'm like, okay, it's really not that hot outside today. And it's cloudy. So you're going to tell me that it's freaking cloudy outside. It's really not that hot. Like, according to, how it feels outside. Let me check their temperature and see what they said that the number is for today. Okay, 82 degrees? It said it's 82 degrees. It was like 90 something degrees the other day. So, and it was just higher, whatever the degrees were the other day, and it was freaking hot. And so maybe it's hotter in other areas, but why is power out over here in my area if everything's cool? That doesn't make any logical sense. And they're saying it like as soon as it went off, I think like 30 minutes later, my mom pulled up the information. She said that everything's supposed to be back on at like 6 p.m. What time is it right now? It's like 5 p.m. It's 4:36. And I'm like, so how they know when it's going to come back on? Like, there's no thunderstorms happening. Like, we had a little bit of rain the other day, but there's been no regular thunderstorm. Like, I know what a power outage is supposed to be like over here. We're supposed to have a tornado. We're supposed to have extreme lightning. We're supposed to have thunder that knocked the grid. We're supposed to have unbearable heat. We're supposed to have something to cause this, not just, oh, we're just going to turn the power out. Like, this doesn't make, it don't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense. She said it's like thousands of people with no power right now, and it's supposed to be on at 6 o'clock. I'm like, so they doing like scheduled outages or whatever? So this is why, bringing it into spirituality and explaining different things that I talk about. This is the reason I talk about wealth so much. A wealthy person wouldn't even care because they'd have a few generators. My mom's looking into getting a few different generators that are solar powered. My mom's looking into solar power energy. So while she's doing that, she's already, got the preserves thing on lock. Like, we have, even if this was supposed to last a while, we got plenty of jars of reserves so we can eat those and keep our freezers and refrigerators closed so they can stay frozen and cold until the power comes back on. So we can just go in those jars and we can eat those. So now that she knows that, and I'm going to learn that part next, she's looking into like solar energy and generators and things to just keep us going, keeping us afloat while they do their little experiments and different things that they be trying to do and stuff. Because it's like, it don't make no sense. I'm not sure how well you guys can hear me. I apologize for the train. But let me put y'all on this tripod because I just got y'all kind of sitting back. The microphone's on the bottom of the phone and I just don't know. I don't know. Okay. So y'all should be able to hear me better if you couldn't hear me well before. And so, yeah, we just chilling. This isn't anything we're not used to. It's just, I know I saw this coming. Other people have already been talking about this. If you're into spirituality, whether you're a content creator or somebody who's been taking it very seriously on your walk, you already know a lot of stuff like this has been coming. There's no true logical reason why our power's out right now. Like I said, don't even mind my face. I just woke up from a nap, so I just look like this. So, don't even trip on that. If I was sweating, if I was hot, I'd very much complain. I don't even think I got on camera the other day because it was so hot. So the fact that I even have the energy to do this right now says a lot. But yeah, wealth. A wealthy person wouldn't even be thinking about stuff like this because they'd be like, oh, okay, let's turn on the backup generator until the stuff comes back on. And there would be no thing to think about at all. And it's like, oh, well, you don't necessarily need a bunch of money to have a generator. No, but a person with a wealth mindset would already be thinking like that. It's not like you have to be a millionaire, have millions of dollars in order to have that type of mentality. That's not what I'm saying. When I say wealth, I mean somebody who is self-sufficient, basically, like somebody who doesn't need to go clock in order to be alive. I'll respect the people who have jobs and have like 9 to 5 jobs and everything. Both of my parents, like, they have those, but they can operate without them, to be very honest. It's just, they utilized it for their own means, basically. And that's what a lot of people fail to do. A lot of people get degrees, they get college degrees, and they don't even go into the field where they got their degree in. And that's the confusing thing about it. So you're sitting there with student loans, and you're not in the field that you got certified in by your diploma. What it says on your diploma, where you got your degree, you're not in that field. So it's confusing. Care with Dennis Katandi says hello. And yet, it's like complaining about your student loans. It's complaining about money. It's complaining about this, complaining about that. Well, I mean, that's why you have to have a wealth mindset. You can't go into something. I don't know what people think when they go to college, because when I realized, what college was and everything like that, what I wanted to do, like my idea of what I wanted to do in life changed. Previously, I wanted to be a fashion designer, so I was going to study textiles in college. Then I wanted to go to college for business and entrepreneurship. And once I learned the truth about everything, for one thing, I learned business on my own. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs. And then once I learned how things are with professors in college, a lot of these professors have never ever run or owned businesses or even been partners in businesses. And I'm like, so I want to get a student debt. I was able to get like scholarships and stuff, so I probably wouldn't have been in debt. But it's like, I'm going to spend money to some capacity, spend my time and my resources and my energy at a facility where somebody who isn't even in the field where I'm trying to go is going to teach me? Like, that doesn't even make sense. I'd much rather do exactly what I did. I got online courses to learn the skills that I know, because I have a wealth mindset. I know exactly what I wanted to do, so I went and learned that directly from people who do the thing that I want to know how to do. It's really as simple as that. I don't know why people complicate it so much. I don't know. I just don't know why this whole argument is complicated, because you got people on one end. I'm going to stop talking about this in a second, but this needs to be said. Yeah, on one end, you have, it really is a corrupt corporation when you talk about colleges and, student loans and stuff. It can be very corrupt. But on the other hand, you have people who won't allow children to think for themselves. You have to remember, college is a choice from that child to become an adult. Okay? So, you have a corrupt system that's pushing down your throat. Sister, I am going to leave because network work is disturbing me here. May God bless you, pretty sister. Oh, thank you. See you later. And okay, yeah, you have this corrupt system that's pushing down the parents and the students' throats, this whole concept. Then you have parents who aren't even allowing the children to really think for themselves. And so then you end up with people who complain all the time about student loans, who complain all the time about having a degree and not having money and not being in the field that they want to be in. One Kamichi says, hey. And so then you have this constant battle mentally for a lot of these people. Because, I know plenty of people who have student loans and who are not wealthy and who are, thinking to themselves, why am I in this position? Because you gave into the system. Unfortunately, you were very, very young, and so it's easy to just give up your freedom like that when you don't know any better. And that's why I put the parents right here instead of the students themselves, because a lot of them just don't know. I was plenty educated on what college was and that whole concept. I went to my mom's college classes with her when she used to take night classes, so it wasn't anything that was confusing for me. I knew exactly what college was. And then I took college classes while I was in high school, got that experience, and I'm like, I like the vibe of college and it's cool, but like I don't need this in order to get where I want to go in life. So that's, it's the corruptness of the system. You have teachers who have never done what they are teaching. That's a problem. And then you have parents who are not allowing children to think for themselves in order to truly become an adult. Because it's different if it's like you have somebody who's graduating college, who really wants to, graduating high school, who really wants to go to college, and then they decide to go to college. But then you have other people who are like, I don't want to go to college. And then you have parents who are like, well, if you don't go to college, you're getting kicked out the house. I'm not going to help you. I'm doing this, doing that. And it's like, well, dang, okay, let me go to college so you don't do all that to me. Somebody getting a degree shouldn't be more important than your relationship to your child. That doesn't make any logical sense. Give them some time to at least figure out things. Obviously, if they don't know what they want to do by the time they, get out of high school, whether it's just get a job and just be themselves for a little bit, or get a trade, or have a side hustle or something. If they don't know that, obviously that's the parents' fault for not being involved with their child and helping them figure life out. So you can't be mad at them for not wanting to go to college and not knowing what they want to do in life. So that's a whole different video, but I had to go off on that tangent for a little bit, because with situations like this, all the college degrees in the world is not going to save you from these types of situations. The wealthiest people in the world don't have college degrees. And they don't have to deal with situations like this. They're either causing these power outages or they're protected from them. So what exactly is everybody's argument here? I'm not even trying to argue. I just want people to realize, like, look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is not you having something you can frame and put on your wall and be like, I did this. It's good to have accomplishments. I'm not saying, don't be proud of what you did. If you're proud of what you did, like my mom, she has a degree in education and communication, and she's a teacher. So she's in her joint, she's in her field. So she can be proud of what she did. But other people, they get degrees, like what's it called? Is it in fine arts or something? Artistic studies. And then they go get a job at like Costco or something. And it's like, I don't understand what Costco has to do with fine arts or artistic studies. Shouldn't you be like at an art gallery or a digital marketer or like a digital creator? Be a YouTuber. I mean, come on. Like, be an animator. What are you talking about? You telling me you went to school, got into debt, and you're not going to use your degree? That's weird to me, man. It's strange and it's weird. And so when you get past like even thinking about certain things, you just start going into, preparation mode. Like, okay, that's toilet paper and like other products and stuff. Because we saw this movie already, man. We saw this movie already last year. We've already been seeing the movie, but people act like, 2020 was the first time that the movie actually was rolling. No, the movie's been rolling for a while. It's just 2020 was the test run for a lot of things. Y'all better get prepared for 2022, man. Get prepared for 2022. It's going to be way worse than 2020. I'm telling you. Like, this isn't a scare tactic or anything. Like, I'm telling you, it's going to be worse than 2020. I'm going to take that to the Lord too and see if he wants me to make that a prophetic word and like go deeper into detail about what's going to be happening and stuff like that. I'll check on that. But my intuition already knows, like, just look at the timeline. 2020 happened. Entire world reset. When has that whole world ever been shut down to where you couldn't go outside? They wouldn't let you go outside. It wasn't just don't get in crowded areas. It wasn't just social distance. It wasn't just wear a mask. It was don't go outside. Children could not go to a park and play. We went to the park for my son's birthday. They had it taped. You weren't allowed to be outside. Like, come on now. So take that into account. 2021, gas shortages. And guess what? It wasn't even a gas shortage. It was a hack from somebody outside of the country. They hacked into our system, and they are the ones who turned off the gas. So you're telling me that an outside force, not, oh, we were mining for oil and we were mining for gas and we couldn't find any more. No, that's not what happened. Some group of people outside of the country were like, we want some money from this government because we know they have it. They just gave everybody stimulus checks last year. So we are going to turn off what they need and ask for a ransom. And then they got it. They're not going to tell you that on the news, but that's what happened. The mainstream media, anyway. I get my news from spiritual people. I listen to prophetic people. I listen to apostolic people. I listen to people with spiritual gifts. I listen to people who have, a form of seeing into the future, who can predict, who have accurate predictions on a consistent basis. That's who I listen to. That's who I get my news from. When I watch the news, I just be like, yeah. Because I read the Bible every day too. So with me reading the Bible and listening to the people who God ordained to know certain things for the future, everything just lines up for me, and I don't have any guesswork. I don't have to figure out what's going to happen. I just be like, oh, okay. I just be living, really, and just observing other people. Like this whole crazy stuff. Like, I'm going to get back to the power outages, but I got to touch on this. There's all crazy stuff going on in the spiritual community, right? Because, like I said in pretty much all of my previous videos, because I started out making very heavy biblical content on my YouTube channel, right? And it was all for, mainly, my main goal at that point was to attract Christians and people who are of the Hebrew faith. That was my main goal. And people who are of the occult as well. Simply because black people of the occult, because I want them to recognize themselves as Israel and understand, like, the reason that a lot of things are the way they are is because we are these types of people. And so, with that being said, I attracted a lot of Christians, but they were like old school religious people and old people. Like, I looked at my analytics, it was like people over age 50 and 60 on my videos and stuff. And that it caused like a lot of discord amongst them when I was talking about particular pastors. And I'm like, but okay, you're attacking me, a young person who is observing the fact that there's so much discord among pastors and people who are saying that they are of a biblical or spiritual hierarchy in this 3D plane, in this world, because who knows if God actually ordained them to be a pastor. I'll leave that. So me pointing that out caused an issue for these people. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave y'all alone. So then, now you have people who are not religious getting into debacles on the internet. I touched on the young Pharaoh thing. Y'all can go watch those videos on my reels if you're on Instagram. And if you are on YouTube, it is on one of my videos. Some of them are in the short. Some of them are like regular length. And so you got this young Pharaoh, Rashad Jamal, Remedy Age thing. They weren't all squabbling. Like, that wasn't how it was. It was just like the perspective of things was twisted. And so you had that happen. And now you got Foster eBay coming after Dolo the Pilot Man. And it's like, oh my gosh. Because with young Pharaoh, he was being very indirect with his issue with Rashad Jamal. Rashad don't give a fuck. Like, he clearly doesn't like young Pharaoh, and that's fine. It's totally cool to dislike somebody and what they do. Not what they do. Because, like, the thing is, young Pharaoh does good for people who are, like, learning about spirituality and everything. The issue is, like, I'm not going to touch on that in detail, but Rashad never came for young Pharaoh. He never came for him. And the narrative was spun to make it seem like he did. And so that was why young Pharaoh had an issue, but he never directly said what he was feeling towards Rashad Jamal. That was the issue that everybody was having. It was like, why are you dancing around in circles about the situation when we know what you're saying, but you're not being direct about it? Like, that's a pussy move. And that's why nobody really like fuck with the situation the way that you think that they fuck with the situation. On top of his personal issues he has going on, because everybody got crazy stuff going on. So I'm not even trying to like be like, you know, throw him under the bus for his personal issues, because I'm going through some of the same issues he's going through. So it's like, I understand that, but it's like, you can't let your emotions from your personal issues get into, you know, what your image is here on the internet. Because it's not about even upholding an image. It's about you being a particular way and separating your ego from your spiritual walk. Even though sometimes it's like combined and like you're known as this person, it's still a particular way you gotta operate in the public eye, you know? And so, because he's like low-key a celebrity, like he's basically a celebrity. So things are just different for him. And so you got this Foster eBay, Dolo the Pilot Man situation. And it's totally different from young Pharaoh. Because Foster is directly calling out Dolo and saying that he's not who he says he is. And this is why I constantly say, like, give us young people a break. Because whether or not Dolo the Pilot Man is who he says he is or not, all Foster had to do really was just say that, I mean, he didn't have to say anything. He could have just stopped following him. He could have unsubscribed. You know, I feel like he got into idolization a little bit. And that's not me trying to justify or defend Dolo. Because I mean, I felt like a lot of what Foster was saying has some weight to it. The thing is, I personally didn't like the approach. Even though I did agree with some of the stuff he said, I just feel like, you know, some of this stuff just shouldn't be said in the way that it's being said. Because then I watched Dolo's response to it, and he was just like, yo, hold on, like, what's going on here? And like, also, okay, and we're back. So I'm gonna cut that topic short, but basically, Dolo responded. He said he saw the video and stuff, and he really didn't defend himself too much. He was just like, yo, what do you have going on? Because honestly, it takes a lot to let somebody into your space. And when you get into idolization, you may not know that you're idolizing a thing or a person, and that might be what's being dealt with. Or I could be completely wrong and Dolo is deceiving all of us. I don't know, but I don't care, because I take the information. Same thing I do with Rashad Jamal. I don't believe every single thing that dude says, because sometimes I'll be like, yeah, that's some off the wall shit. But at the same time, I'll be like, he has a point with a lot of the other things he's saying. So that's why I'd much rather like listen with open ears. And like, what's that phrase called? Chew the meat, spit out the bones type of thing. Same thing I do with Dolo. Same thing I do with anybody, including pastors who come straight from the Bible with what they're saying, or including prophets or prophetic people who come from the Bible with what they're saying. I don't believe every single thing that a person says. And so, you know, that's just me. I thought that people who are spiritual just kind of understood that. But again, when it comes to people in my generation who are younger, please just give us a break. Anyone who's born in the 90s or is part of Generation Z, give us a break. Because for one thing, a lot of us are going through a lot. As Dolo likes to say, a lot of us are flunked out right now. We got flunked out spaceships. I'm telling you, it is very, very hard for us right now. Imagine being fed your entire childhood, being told that you can do whatever you want to do, and we're all in our 20s, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty much all of us are in our 20s. My sister just turned 21 this year, so everybody who was born in 1999 and up, they're all in their 20s. So you got this life you're living as a kid, and then everything gets taken away from you. Everything got taken away from everybody last year. Everything. Now this year we gotta like get back to normal when we know we can't get back to normal, when we know that there's all this stuff going on. People are trying to control us. People are trying to do all these things and manipulate the world and everything. I would hate to be in Foster's shoes. Quite honestly, I expect the video title, Power Outage. I would hate to be in his shoes, worried about what some other dude is doing, and then an outage happens, and then thinking that it's him. That would freak me out. That would freak me out. So if you don't know what happened, basically, you know, Foster said that Dolo did a spiritual attack on Foster. And so, like, things would happen to him and stuff, or he was coming at him with different videos he was making and whatever. And so, that's what I'm saying. Whether it's true or not, for a power outage to happen for him, it would wreck his whole day. It would wreck his whole day, probably his entire week. Because that's how powerful this stuff is. I wouldn't put it past Dolo. Like, I'm just saying, like, he probably is powerful enough to do something like that. I'm not saying that he couldn't do it. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's just too deep. A lot of the stuff that's happening right now is too deep. If there's not enough synchronicities to line up with whatever it is that's going on, I don't even go by it. Sometimes I'll have a feeling or I'll have a thought. I'll even think that I'm having a vision about something. But if no synchronicities come to confirm it, I ain't even gonna believe it. I'm gonna be like, look, I'm gonna leave that thought where it is. And if God wants to confirm it later, he can. Because otherwise, I'm not even gonna stress myself out about it. The peace that transcends all understanding. I don't understand it and I don't want to. So that's all that is. So it's like, you know, you guys just stay prayed up. Like, you know, put on the full armor of God. Read Ephesians 6, man. Like, and we're battling against these principalities and stuff, but just have your armor on. But remember, there's sometimes when the soldiers are warring, there's another time when we're on standby. We're chilling in our armor, and we're being aware of what is going on and, you know, how things are going, but we're not active. Just learn the flow with the times. Like, it's okay. Everything's chill. Everything's chill. Like, to be very honest with you, I know it's a lot of stuff going on right now. Everybody has crazy stuff going on right now. We're not talking about the government. We're not talking about this crazy stuff. Even this power outage. Other people are being affected by it on a mass scale. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about each person's individual life. Everybody's going through crazy stuff right now. And the weird thing is, I study and follow astrologers and stuff. They're not even saying anything significant about the energies going on right now. So that's why I've been leaning more towards prophetic people, because they get messages directly from God, and it's not like orchestrated by the stars or anything. Because the stars can only tell you so much. The stars can only tell you a repeated pattern. So a lot of the things that have happened, like in the past couple of months, happened last year. And I remember that from my own memory. It happened last year and the year before. Happens pretty much every summer. A lot of the same patterns happen. So it's different when it's prophetic and there's a very, very specific message for this particular time. It doesn't matter if it happened last year or the year before. It's for this specific particular time. So it's different. Plenty of people have prophesied and predicted these power outages and stuff, and they're predicting more things. I predicted and prophesied about the food shortages. Y'all, like, I don't have a garden, and we're not like learning how to preserve food for no reason. Of course, there's people who do it as a hobby, who just grew up doing that, so that's just what they do, or people who have businesses doing it. Sure, but right now it's vital. I mean, do y'all not see like the empty shelves at Walmart and Kroger and Publix and what's that other place? Hub in Texas? Like, do y'all not see it? I don't understand why people aren't see. Like, it's with your physical eyes. You don't even need your third eye open to see certain things right now. And that's what's terrifying. It's like, okay, you got people who have actual physical eyes who aren't able to see what's going on when it's visible. It's actually visible. And that's like right now. Right now. Power outages. For no reason. It's not that hot outside. It's cloudy. We haven't had like full-on thunderstorms yet over here. Nothing has knocked anything off the grid. And they had a time for when it's supposed to get back on. None of that seems suspect to you? Yet people want to still believe in what they're being told by people who really have no soul. No offense, but a lot of these politicians, a lot of these people on the news, these people don't have souls. And I don't know how to explain that in physical words, because people be like, oh, they don't have a soul, like they sold their soul to the devil. It's like, okay, you can't literally sell your soul to the devil. What happens is you sign a contract with a demonic force, whether it be a spiritual contract or a physical contract. You perform certain rituals, whether they be public or private, knowingly and unknowingly. And you continue in this pattern to feed negativity or a negative entity, and it pulls you away from your purpose. So some people, you know, a particular job they're in, right? Let's say they are in the media. They know that they're feeding people lies. You all remember in Spider-Man where the dude who ran the newspaper place, he always wanted there to be a negative image of Spider-Man in the news, even though Spider-Man was literally helping people when the police department didn't. Okay. You have people in the media who they know they're doing wrong for a paycheck. They know they are. And it's hurting people. The more people they hurt, the more lives that they affect on a day-to-day basis, the worse it gets for them. That's what selling your soul to the devil is. That's why a lot of celebrities participate in all this crazy stuff. Because if they don't, their career won't be at the top when, I mean, let's talk about a career versus art. What's more important, your art and making your fans happy, or your career and making a false statement that you really don't want to make? A lot of people, I feel like a lot of celebrities would really like their lives to be private and their art to speak for them, but they can't even do that because now everything's political. And you have to stand up for something. You have to be this, you have to be that in order for your career to be a certain place. And that doesn't even make any logical sense. But that's why everything's changing. Everything's different now. You got different, like, Christian people who have albums and everything, and they are working with pastors. They go to different churches and stuff like that. Yes, spiritual people who have built up their platforms. They hang out with other spiritual people. They release music. They release videos. And it's like, okay, we're just in a different age now where you don't have to do the crazy stuff that celebrities are doing, but celebrities are still doing it because that's the contract they sign. And the problem is they're getting younger people to sign those same contracts. I was looking up different rappers and different artists, and I'm like, they're getting these kids young. Like, I remember being young. Like, I wanted to be in the industry young, so I guess that's why. But I'm like, you know, 13, 14, 15 years old, and there's kids with, like, we're not talking Disney Channel, we're talking like mainstream celebrities by the time they're 17 years old. And I'm like, whoa, how did that happen? Like, that's weird. You dropped one album and you're just unbelievably famous when apparently your story is you didn't have that much money. I don't care what your record label is, because record labels sign a bunch of artists. None of them are as famous as you. How did this happen? That's weird. Some of them do be talented, and I'm not taking their talent away from them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's weirdly suspicious how they blew up so fast. It's just strange. I can't credit a lot of things like to the internet or like whatever. TikTok helps with music artists and stuff, but y'all get what I'm saying. Like, it's just strange. It's weird. It's very weird. And so I'm gonna wrap this up. Once y'all see this, I tweeted this the other day. This world is shifting. Was that yesterday or the day before? Yeah, it was yesterday. This world is shifting. That was just a tweet. I didn't mean anything specific by that. I'm stating the obvious, but people don't realize how real it is. Okay. I'm gonna show y'all this. This is my website that I'm working on. And we're going to be launching later this month. You can learn how to get into the real estate investing industry in 7 days. And, you know, with this whole high value narrative happening, I also have something for you guys who want to make 6 figures or more. Dang, why my thing look like that? Oh, why I look like that? Hold on, let me see if I can get it looking right. Y'all can read the whole thing. But it says, make 6 figures in your REI wholesale business. Learn to properly structure your business and bird dog team with our course and mastermind. Dang, I actually misworded that. But anyway, yeah, there's an option to learn how to make 6 figures in real estate with my programs or whatever. And the thing is, you can use whatever programs you want to use to learn how to get into real estate. Or make 6 figures rather, because that one is not like my specialty. It's just something I do have experience in, and other people do too. So I brought everybody together in a mastermind. But getting into the industry, yeah, that's my forte. Because a lot of people don't know what steps to take to just learn it. So that is what I break down into my course. And I'm writing an ebook right now, so people will be able to take that ebook and learn how to get into the industry, and also structure their 6-figure wholesale business and run bird dog teams as well. Yeah, I'll be finished writing that ebook. It'll definitely be done before the website launch, but I think I'll be done with that like this week maybe. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be going up on the website. You can check out the website and the app at Bird Dog Real Estate on Instagram, and the link is in the bio to download the app. The website is not official yet, so the URL is like birddogrealestate.wixsite.com/BDRE. I know that's a lot, but if you want to type that in, you can. If you want to, birddogrealestate.wixsite.com/BDRE, and that's the website for right now until I get the official URL and domain on there. And you just check out the site and learn how to get into real estate, because it's not as hard as people make it seem. Running a business, of course, in any industry, running a business is what it is. Being an entrepreneur is what it is. But learning about it isn't as complicated as other people make it seem. So, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up though. I love all you guys. That's why I'm sharing more, with people who are in my circle, who follow me on Instagram. And if you are subscribed to me on YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram if you want to, at Real Talk with Ellie. So yeah, just sharing what's going on right now. This stuff right here is weird. And even the other day, my mom heard it. She heard it last year. My sister heard it with me. It was a loud noise in the sky, just going shoo. We go outside, me and my sister last year. We look, nothing's in the sky. We're like, what was that noise? The other day, my mom heard it. She was like, what was that? I was like, let me go see, because I bet you it's not going to be there. I go outside. I was like, no, I didn't see anything, Mom. But even if there was something, it's really, really cloudy, so we can't even tell. And she was like, that didn't sound like an airplane. I'm like, I know it didn't sound like an airplane. It's just getting closer and closer. It's creepy because I know that this isn't the end. A lot of people think this is the end, and it's not. It's really like a preview. Y'all remember they said in the 90s where they wiped a lot of people's memories of stuff? Yeah. They said that people's memories got wiped in the 90s. So that's why people mainly remember like the good things from the 90s and not like the weird stuff that happened. It's going to be like the kind of the same thing. Like this decade is going to be weird. That's why they're planning for the Great Reset in 2030. So I mean, just understand why they do certain things and be ahead, be like, you know, up on game with what they have going on. And also have your own plan outside of what they're doing. So that's where God comes in. You got to listen to him and let him tell you exactly what it is that you need to do. And it's not necessarily me like, God is in me. Okay? It's just easy to refer to him as an external entity when obviously he's not. It's just when we're talking about things, it's just easy to do that. Like talking to your higher self. It's the same thing, but how can you talk to your higher self without kind of removing yourself from them? You gotta like get face to face with them a little bit and be like, so what do you want me to do? Oh, you want me to do that? Oh, okay. And then they go back in you and then you operate as them. I hope you understand like what I'm saying, because like people don't, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Shalom, royalty, and reign of Korans. I will see you in the next one. Tawada.